discussion with some of you that are here, with maybe the head of the TRA, with the Minister of ICT, to think about how we can really operationalize this. I think the Minister is quite keen that this is enabling, that the tax policy is responsive to grow the country, to enable the government to provide effective services to the citizens of the country. And this is directly in line with also what Her Excellency the President said during the Human Capital Summit. There are key goals and objectives, and social services is a priority one. Financing for that is needed. But in order for the government to be able to provide its role, it's going to have to do more in terms of efficient and effective fiscal policy. And I would like to keep that at the front of our minds. Obviously, for me, what that means is transparency, it means simplicity, and I would like to also argue that it means digitalization, because with that, at least we're operating off of the same data knowledge base. So I'm going to stop there and give the final words to the Honorable Minister of Finance and the instructions for our homework for the next step. Minister.
Thank you very much once again, my brother Nathan, for giving me this opportunity. And I wish also to thank the panelists for the well-elaborative session. And on the side of the government, I can reassure the audience that the very time when the government is speaking the same language with the private sector is now. Thanks to Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, who has managed to give this direction, and seriously, you can see that is why it has been easier even for we from the government to participate fully in these sessions without any excuse, because what the private sector is speaking actually is what we are addressing and driving. You can see what my brother Ulanga was saying on the predictability of our policies, and the proposed 3 to 5 years, maybe on our policy regimes. We have started with 3 years. In our previous budget speech, we approved a 3 years minimum time frame for changes of levels of taxes, just to make the private sector predict the fiscal regimes for their appropriate planning. We are equally sharing the opinion with all the panelist positions on empowerment of the private sector and the attracting investments. Even from our humble backgrounds, we were told you cannot milk the cow without feeding it. So that is what equally we are now trying to value, that we have to empower the private sector before we think of getting much in terms of taxes. And equally the same, you cannot have new, when we were discussing of broadening the tax base, we cannot have new avenues of tax base without having new economic activities. And that is the essence of attracting new investment, attracting new economic activities, empowering the private sector, so that you will always have an avenues for new taxes, and that you broaden the tax base, and consequently you will definitely have the small levels of taxes with a broad tax base. So those are at the center of what Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has been advocating. you can see all these issues surrounding investing in productive sectors, the agriculture, livestock and fisheries, the build a better tomorrow, bringing the youth into productive sectors, the workforce into working, and my brother-in-law, Mari, said it, that the giving back of the taxes to the taxpayers. This is the very time where the funds has really gone to the social sectors in large quantities than ever. The rural roads, you know, the budget was increased from merely 200 billion to over plus or minus 1 trillion. It's a huge increase, and it is opening the rural roads. Equally the same in the education sector. The loan board itself leave alone the free access to education. The budget has grown more than double from merely 400 billion to over 800 billion. And we are looking forward in the very near future, maybe the coming financial year, we will be closing to 1 trillion just for the higher education loans alone. The same story on the health sector. We are bringing back, perhaps in November, the universal health insurance, the health coverage, the infrastructure, the same. And the strategic projects for building a solid base of macroeconomic, macroeconomic infrastructure. It's the same story. The funds are flowing in the energy sector, which is a big driver, the railway, and the other infrastructures. So we thank the private sector, and we are open always for these discussions. And only one aspect which is ahead, as you said, should also touch on the way forward, is on digitalization of tax systems, the digitalization on the tax collections and control of expenditure, so that we minimize maybe the wastage of taxpayers' money. So perhaps my ministry, and I see the central bank and the ministry well represented, we have to keep engaging with the World Bank and the other development partners to see how we digitalize our tax collections and the expenditure so that we minimize complaints from our taxpayers in terms of tax administration and the controlling of taxpayers' funds. Asante sana for listening, and I appreciate the discussion has given us some insights and giving areas where we can engage further and improve those areas which need some further improvements. Thank you once again, and can I put this to an end? Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Finance. Thank you for closing our session. We appreciate, and for also dedicating more time than initially planned to this event. We very much appreciate it. Thank you for your engagement. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the gift of time. We had planned to finish by about 12. We're a little bit ahead due to the efficiency and effectiveness of the event being run and the amount that the speakers shared. But before we do go, I know we want to get our hands on a copy of the report. If you don't have the hard copy, there is a link that's going to come up on screen so that you can get a soft copy of the report. It should come up momentarily. So please do share, disseminate, digest, and if you choose to tweet about this, we do have an official hashtag, which is hashtag TEU19, Tanzania Economic Update 19. Last but not least, the World Bank is inviting us for lunch, so we encourage you to stick around, continue to digest the content of the report. There will be lunch served on the first floor from 12 o'clock. Otherwise, asante sana to the speakers, the panelists, our chief guest, the organizing committee. We wish you a wonderful day. The report is officially launched. Asante sana.
What is the purpose of tonight, my baby? Is my fortune the main act? I need to feel where you at, my baby. Are you ready to create something new? I don't want it to be all the same.